Hello and welcome back to the Limit of Adhesion. We're here for the Endurance League. My name is Mark, and joining me in the commentary booth is Steve. Steve, how you doing?
Konnichiwa, Mark. It's fantastic to be here.
Konnichiwa, indeed.
And just to let everybody know, we're in the probably one of the most scenic of motor racing circuits, the Fuji Speedway, located in the foothills of the Mount Fuji, and it's absolutely beautiful. The views around here are absolutely spectacular, and it's great to be here.
It is indeed. As we watch some of the cars go out for practice and qualifying, we will get onto the grid in just a few minutes. But while we do, as we see some of the cars running through, that is 100R. That looks to be, was that 438? Was that Stephen Maxwell?
Looks like it.
And a lovely Aston Martin, is that?
Yeah, I think there's quite a few drivers that have swapped to the Aston in this round, actually.
Indeed. Now, of course, the Aston is a relatively new car. I can't remember, Steve. Is this the first round that we've had the Aston?
I think it possibly is. Well? No, I think it's the first one, but I'm not 100% sure. I think Interlagos was the round before, so it might have been in that. But anybody in the chat could let us know whether it was the Aston in at Interlagos or whether he came out with for Fuji.
Yeah, either way, just as we go on board, as we see Maxwell just lose the rear end slightly, have a little half spin and resets back to the pits. It does look nice, that Aston. I'm a big fan of it.
Beautiful. It sounds great as well. Big V8 lump in the front, and it's got the Aston pedigree as well with the handling, and it drives beautifully.
Well, I'm sorry, Steve, if you're going to mention how good it sounds, I know those of you at home who know me and have watched the streams before are already thinking, oh God, he's going to mention the Mustang again, isn't he? And yeah, of course, we can't mention how any car sounds without mentioning the glorious Mustang. So yeah, the Aston Martin is probably a solid second place, but nothing can replace the glorious Mustang.
I beg to differ, but my cards are well and truly placed in the Aston Martin dish, to be honest. It's a beautiful car.
Yeah, I'm quite fond of the Aston Martin GT4. I do like that.
Yeah, so I'm heading towards it. I've got the McLarens for me in the GT4s, but I've actually been driving the Porsche GT4, and that's grown on me a little bit as well.
I do have the Porsche as well, only because the other member of this commentary duo forced me into buying it for a Nürburgring race.
The one that we won, was that?
You are absolutely spot on. But yeah, no, I bought the Aston purely because it was an Aston and for no other reason.
Oh, practice is over.
We could almost hear the crew chief saying practice is over, head on in.
Definitely. Look at those views. Beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah. Just have to make sure that when these drivers are going around the circuit that they are watching the road and not the views.
maybe that's my problem.
There's a nice section as you're coming through. I think it's as you're coming through 100R, where you just see Mount Fuji just pop up into view as you're going around the corner, and it is so easy to just sort of start looking at the glorious mountain and just get a bit distracted. Oh wait, no, yeah, I'm supposed to be driving.
Did you know it's not actually a mountain? It's a volcano.
Is it indeed?
It is indeed. It's a dormant volcano.
Well, let's hope that there is no action on the volcano and no action. Well, we'll hope that there's some action on the track, but we'll hope that it won't erupt too badly and cause any friction in the race.
I think a steep pepper going around there.
Looks like it, yeah. We've got another spinner as well.
Yeah, that's two Aston Martins round in that corner then.
It is, yeah. As we see, there are two more Aston Martins. That is 64, that is Rich Meesters. Little overtakes there. See these guys now starting their qualifying laps. We see Rich now got a nice little slipstream actually. So we'll see if he can be hard on the brakes into turn one. Aston Martin versus Aston Martin. See the latest on the brakes. Oh, there we go. We've got some overlays up showing who the drivers are.
I hope my steering wheel is working again.
Confirmation that is indeed Rich Meesters. Looks like we're going to stick with Rich now and watch him through his lap. Well, he's part of it. No. Scratch that. We're going to watch Josh Martinez.
I'm getting with Kel Hudson.
And Carl Hudson. All of the AITT Revolution e-racing drivers. Who, I have to admit, Steve, the Revolution e-racing duo have just been absolutely brilliant, haven't they?
Yeah, they've done really well since they come into the competition. They've been strong and very competitive, so it's nice to see that at the front as well. It's putting a challenge to teams that have already been established in the LOA. So it's good because it keeps everybody on the toes, and you know, it's good for competition. I like it.
Here's Mr. On.
Go around me again.
Don't sit on board with Carl Hudson. We'll go over to Danny Chan and see how he's doing. Again in the AITT Revolution e-racing. They've got a few teams on the grid now, haven't they?
Yeah, I think we can actually. I think is it two
Curb
teams,
assist,
two drivers. So yeah, they're getting that way.
Yeah, it's two teams. Sorry, two drivers per team. But we can have multiple teams in the stable. We have up to 3 at the moment under the current limit of adhesion rules. See there, Thierry Malarin going up as a privateer. And here we have some Formula Owners. Talking of all of the different stables, that is Mark Kelly, followed by Clayton McBuller. Clayton a bit all over the road as he jinks left and then right. Not the ideal way to start a hot lap. Maybe he's just giving a nice tow to Mark Kelly behind. So we are 4 minutes into qualifying, so we've got 15 minutes. As you can see, it's open qualifying, so everyone out on track at the same time, trying to put in the fastest time over one single lap. They can have as many attempts as they like. Some of these guys were fueled up for the full 15 minutes.
Just apologise at the moment for the lack of SDK overlays at the moment because it seems to be playing up again.
It does appear like SDK is being a bit of a DICK.
Very much. You'd never get to drive at Mellons.
But we do apologise and we will attempt to resolve all technical issues as soon as we possibly can.
It looks like it's put its feet up. So we haven't even got any standings or what have you. So we'll just have to muddle through best we can and take it. Oh, there we go. We've got standings at the moment. Obviously it's not going onto the stream. So we'll try and keep everybody up to date as soon as we possibly can. And just let people do it. Hey, the overlay monkey's got it working again. Hey!
Brilliant. So, as you can see, let's have a quick recap then. We've got Zach Liebold, who is currently on provisional pole. Oh, having said that, Matt Hansel goes straight to the top of the timings on 1:38.7. That's 6/10 nearly ahead of Liebold.
Yeah, it's a cracking lap.
Now, I will point out that the timer in the top left I have questions over the validity of that time, given the car's been out on track for significantly more than 50 seconds.
Yeah, I think they just didn't update obviously it's had to restart as the overlay, so he's just taken the start time as when it actually went on to those.
So again, apologies for technical difficulties, but nonetheless, we will muddle through. Danny Chan up there in 4th for silver drivers. He's doing well.
He is very same as Rich with 7th place there with bronze.
I was just about to say that. As we see, just as we start praising Danny Chan, we get Parpy, Isaac Mitchell, another silver driver who just pops it up into 5th.
Yeah, these teams are coming down all the time. It's brilliant.
They are, and of course it's probably time to talk about the new tyre model in the GT3 cars. I know this isn't the first race that we've had them, but now these tyres do take a good few laps to get up to temperature.
Yeah, they do. They can catch some drivers out as well. The first 2 or 3 laps, if they're not on the metal, they can actually catch you out quite quickly.
So I think it's probably, I'd say your second time lap will probably be okay. Really, it's your 3rd, your 4th, your 5th where you're going to start putting in the absolute best possible lap times. As we see, there's Clement Godet in what appears to be the Formula 1 safety car.
Looks like it, doesn't it? It does look good in green.
Oh, it does. I mean, Aston Martin and British Racing green. Combination made in heaven.
Definitely. All it is now is a number 7 on it.
You've lost me there slightly, Steve.
Sterling, what's his number?
Oh, of course. He was a bit before my time, unfortunately.
A bit before mine, but my dad loved it.
As we see Luke Sloots now up into provisional pole position. He is, I can't believe I'm saying this, Steve, but for the first time in what feels like forever, we've got a non-AITT Revolutionary Racing driver on provisional pole position.
Very true, and people might notice now that Mr. Sloots has been uplifted to gold. However, in this race he was bronze, so that's just an updated driver lineup. In the same way that I think Zachary Leopold was also silver, and he's been uplifted to gold, having done a race and been uplifted.
And speak of the devil, and he shall appear. There is Zach Leopold in that glorious Mustang. Have I mentioned how much I enjoy the Mustang, Steve?
Not much, but you can go again if you want.
It is a glorious car. And I have to admit, I'm a sucker for a green car as well.
Don't say.
But how are we doing? We've got, I'd guess maybe 5 minutes left of this qualifying session.
Yeah, I'd say that about as well. That's Steve Pepper there in the Aston Martin. Another lovely car there.
The lovely cool camel racing traditional blue colours. Nice hints of red from the half factory old DSR days. So we see now, this is on board with Daniel Bond, number 611. But he is 24th at the moment. In the silver class, that is 8th in silver. Times aren't that widespread, to be honest. We've got Luke Sloots, who's done a 1:38.5 to take provisional pole position. The entire grid is currently only split by 4 seconds from first to last. In fact, we've got the top 14 within a second. As you see Matt Hansel for AITT Revolutionary Racing, not quite snatching back pole position, just 16 thousandths of a second behind.
judging on the times here, it's going to be an absolute fantastic battle during the race. These drivers are so evenly matched so far.
Yeah, I definitely remember last time out when we saw the two AITT Revolutionary Racing drivers just trading fastest laps, and they had a proper nice fight. So yeah, fingers crossed we'll be able to see more of the same, but with more drivers getting involved. Joshua Martinez and Matt Hansel fighting last time out. Joshua Martinez now currently sat in 4th place with Matt Hansel in 2nd place. 10th and a half covering the top 5.
Yeah, I think looking at that Aston Martin of Gavin Kelly, he looks as though he has wings in the wrong places. He needs them on the sides.
You see one McLaren go spinning, and then another spin straight afterwards. Sorry, it was an Aston Martin, not McLaren. That final corner can be tricky.
If you get that wrong, it can cost you a lot of time, or you get it on the little blanket, it can wreak havoc as you come back on with the sausage curb at the bottom.
You see, that was Bond just getting out of the way for, I think that's Murphy in front. It is Murphy in front. Murphy has done a 139.2, 8/10 off pole position at the moment. In that traditional Wizards colour scheme. Yeah, Murphy 12th at the moment, which is a bit unusual to be honest. We're used to seeing Murphy up at the sharp end of the grid, but having said that, if I look through the others sort of around him, we've got Ollie Ettridge, we've got Marion Hugavin in 15th, Stephen Maxwell in 17th.
Yeah, there's a few surprises down there, isn't there?
Yeah, all of those guys who, I mean, I'm fairly sure are all former champions in limited adhesion.
Yeah.
So it just goes to show how incredibly competitive this league is. You see Mark Kelly getting on the throttle a little bit too early and too aggressive. Out next corner.
And now there's 3 drivers there under a 10 between first, second, third, and 4. Wow.
And Matt Hansel's only 103 thousandths behind.
Yeah.
So we see Leopold there after sector 3. And unfortunately, Grass is not likely to get any quicker. As we see Vasquez now heading to the top for Revolution E-Racing Echo. That's a different AITT Revolution E-Racing team getting to the top. Last time out, it was battle between Hansel and Martinez. Vasquez, not happy, sat on the sidelines watching his teammate battle. He wants to be involved. And he's laid down an incredible time. Nearly 2/10 quicker than anyone else. Just as we were saying how tight this field was. Where's Vasquez pulled that out of the bag from?
He just absolutely blitzed that, didn't he?
He did indeed. So Hansel and Leopold in the pits. They will go no faster. Sipula has just finished his lap time and has gone to P2. Unable to challenge Vasquez. Provisional pole. Who else is currently on a lap? We've got Danny Chan on a lap. Again for the AITT Revolutionary Racing team. We'll see what he can do.
I mean, Lucas
bought his lap.
49 hundredths of a second. It's less than a blink.
It is. So we'll see if there is anyone left on a flying lap that can challenge. I don't think there is. Charles Vasquez, this lap is an in lap. Gavin Kelly wasn't a lap, but has spun. I think that's it. I think that's pole for Vasquez.
Yeah, looks like it. Great pole there. Fantastic time. And a 38.298. What a result.
We see Ettridge and Murphy actually set identical lap times. So now qualifying is over and done with. We will progress on to the race.
Yeah, so as we can see, though, there's there's a 93% chance of rain. So fingers crossed. We do sometimes get rain at Fuji, so fingers crossed it stays away for the race itself.
In fact, I remember last time we were at Fuji for the Endurance League, we had a wet race. That was a thrilling dry to wet race where it started raining about half an hour into the race.
It did indeed.
Everyone it was that sort of changeable conditions for a lot of it. Anyway, Steve, why don't you take us through the grid?
That'd be my pleasure. On pole with a fantastic 138.298 is Charles Vasquez, followed by Lucas Sipula. My apologies, Lucas. Matt Hansel in third, and fourth is Zachary Leibold. Following that is fifth with Luke Sloots, and Joshua Martinez, Clement Gaudet, and Danny Chan brings up eighth. He's a top pole sitter for silver. Then we've got Tom Larin, Justin, Stephen Maxwell, and in 12th, second place for silver is Gavin Kelly.
Right, thank you, Steve. And we'll see if we can get... Not sure if we're going to get the rest of the grid again. Oh, there we go.
The replay overlay monkeys are doing the job again. 13th, Oliver Ettridge with 14th, Alex Murphy, followed by Carl Hudson, Isaac Mitchell, and pole position in bronze for... No, it's Luke Sloots. My apologies, Luke Sloots. We've got pole position in bronze, and Rich Meester's taking second place in bronze. Followed by Marin Hoogvin, Clayton McBuller, Timon Sloots, Sebastian, John Cook, Chris White, and 24th in Mark Kelly. And then we got Chris Forrester, Daniel Bond, Thomas Goebbels, Steve Pepper there in bronze, Lawrence Henry Jenkins, David Ward, and last on the grid is Pete McIntyre.
Looks like Wardy and Pete McIntyre did not get laps in qualifying, so they will start from the rear of the field.
Yeah, I think that's possibly why. David's certainly not that slow, and Pete's been improving all season in the GT3, so it's a surprise to see him on the back as well. So maybe it's just a case of he got off tracks and recorded no time.
Anyway, the guys are now on the grid behind the pace car, awaiting the start of the race.
Really important to get these tyres bomb.
Yeah, they do take a while to get up to speed. You see Charles Vasquez aggressively weaving his tyres, and just as I was about to ask if the overlay monkeys could bring up the standings, there we have them.
They must be reading minds at the moment.
Well, that's a scary thought. So we've got Vasquez, Sipula, Hansel, and Leibold, top four. The safety car will peel into the pits in just a moment. Vasquez will lead the drivers down this long, long back straight, one of the longest on the calendar. I feel like the drivers sat waiting behind the safety car for an absolute age until finally the safety car peels off the pits. Vasquez will choose when to floor it, and it looks like he has done. And we are racing at Fuji Speedway.
It's a 1.5 kilometre street. Is this one of the longest in the world?
Well, how many Yuki Tsunodas is that?
Lots.
As we see Vasquez successfully defending the inside from Lucas Sipula. We've got Hansel, does have a look to the inside, but doesn't manage to make any progress. Leibold there, still in fourth, as we see Sloots fifth and Clement Gaudet in sixth. bit of movement in the rear of the field. Danny Chan still doing well to hold on to the silver lead. We have Rich Meester and Maren Hoopin fighting lower down the order. We see 3 wide, 4 wide, looks like 5 wide going through that corner as we see Josh Martinez did have that off-track moment and have lost a lot of time.
Looks like contact there. Oh, and round he goes.
That's Carl Hudson and I think that was Maren Hoopin involved. And we see that's Rich Meester's round as well.
Yeah, a lot of contact there.
So, certainly lots of drama on the opening lap as the drivers do forget what we were saying about not looking at Mount Fuji. As we see Daniel Bond round and someone else was around as well. I didn't catch who that was.
Yeah, that was right in front of Rich Beast as well. That was very close.
Dan Bond, unfortunately, looks like he's sustained a bit of damage to the front of his McLaren. Well, up at the front, it's still Charles Vasquez leading. So we've got Hoogeveen and Martinez now by pit lane, which is very unfortunate. Now I've got Steve Pepper and Carl Hudson. Hudson, after his first lap, all over the back of Pepper. But he's now having to defend from that's Chua Malarin. Again, Malarin is another one who you would have thought would have been a lot further up the grid. So I'm not sure if we've missed some contact with him on the opening lap.
Yeah, I think he might have been in that first chicane. There's Justin Weisbecker there. I think Justin's new to the league, so welcome aboard.
It's definitely welcome aboard, Justin. As you see there is Steve Pepper. He's certainly in the midst of the battles in these opening laps. Carl Hudson has made his way past Steve Pepper, and now he's got Wardy all over his rear.
So at the moment we've got Zachary Leibold in 4th place, who's leading silver, literally followed by Luke Sloops in 1st position for bronze.
Exactly, yes, apologies for continuously referring to Leibold and Sloops as silver, as gold. Both for this race, they are silver and bronze respectively, but an agreement has been made with the organisers of the league that they will be promoted to gold for all future races. They will keep their bronze points, however, but any future points will be ineligible for consideration in the bronze championship. So we see Sebastian Bovey in 18th place, and that wonderful striking yellow Aston Martin.
Yeah, it just looked good, doesn't it?
It does. We've got a lot of nice liveries on the grid. Oh, we've got Luke Sloots asking why is his livery different. I'm not sure, Luke.
It's whatever's dragged in from Trading Pigs. It's a third-party application.
Either way, welcome aboard, Luke. Nice to have you with us. So we've got a bit of a gap up the front of the bronze standard now. After his spin on the first lap, Rich Meesus has dropped back. I mean, Chris Forrester and Chris White, battle of the McLarens, up there in 14th and 15th place overall and leading the bronze championship. Of course, other than Luke Sloots. There's quite a big gap now between Chris Forrester in 14th and Tom Sloots in 13th. 4 seconds. So, Simon Sloots to a little bit of a no man's land, dropping back slightly from Gavin Kelly, about 2 seconds back, but driving away from the Chris's behind him.
Yeah, if you look at the track map that's up here, you can actually see almost 3 groups of cars that have broken into pods, and obviously they will be that's a rush round.
That's Boivy. And that's John Cook as well. And,
there's 3 cars there.
Boivy very lucky to not collect anyone else in that spin. Yeah, Luke confirming there that it is the wrong livery. So apologies, Luke. Yeah, we download whatever is currently on Trading Paints, so if there is an error in there somewhere. Sometimes these things don't always go as smoothly as we hope for. Meanwhile, we've got the 2 McLarens side by side. This is creating now quite a big gap to Monsloops. These 2 fighting are not letting anyone else behind. So we see Chio McLaren going left, right, trying to find a way through, but that's going to open the door up for Clayton McBuller out of the final corner. Can he get a nice big slipstream down about 1.5 kilometres?
Yeah, just point out that there's no reason for either Chris or Chris to move out of the way. Could well be, like I say, it's Clayton McBuller's in goal. When all said and done, all drivers are competing in the same overall championship. It's just that Chris and Chris are in a lower level for a second subsidiary championship. So there's no need for them to move out of the way. It's just a case of if the faster driver can get past them, can they?
In the same way that in the BTCC we have the Jack Sears Trophy, in endurance racing we have Pro-Am and Pro Countries. They're all the same cars, driving on the same track at the same time, all fighting for the same championship. The silver and the bronze is very much a sub-category, a sub-championship, an extra one to go for.
Yep, exactly.
See now Clayton McBuller is still unable to find his way past either McLaren. Chio McLaren has got past Chris White, but is unable to get past Chris Forrester. Isaac Mitchell though, Harpy, not sure what happened in all of that, but he's managed to make his way through all of these drivers and has emerged up into 12th.
Yeah, you look at the if you look further down the standings ladder, you got Steve Pepper who's now quite a few places from where he's at. So he's already up 7 places and possibly make another one now.
So that Isaac Mitchell, I think he was ahead of these guys, and this issue, he has no front end on that no problema car.
No nose.
No nose at all. You see, successfully navigating the braking zone into turn 1. Clayton McBuller now pulls to the inside, really be able to get alongside Chris White, not into the Coca-Cola corner.
Other soft drinks are available.
Yes, but other soft drinks are not used in the naming of the corner names.
Very true.
See, a slight issue there for McLaren and White. Did look like he had a run. What's nothing doing? There is a bit of bodywork damage on Cheer's car. Yeah, there's a bit of damage on the front end, so that could explain why he is struggling to get past the McLaren of Chris Forrester. As Clayton McBuller now finally gets past Chris White, something he's been trying to do now for the past few laps. Chris White fighting back, exactly, and he gets the place done. Oh, Clayton McBuller absolutely mudders that sausage curb and goes for a little miniature flight. And that's opened the door for both Mark Kelly and David Ward to be able to get past. David Ward, having started right at the back, is progressing through the field.
He's very much so. I thought there was somebody else going in the pits there as well. But yeah, he's not due for Clayton to be taking lights out of the sausage.
That is Malarin into the pits there. Because he did have that little bit of damage, as we see Wardy just pulling to the inside of White, and they'll get that place as well. Kelly, with White goes slightly off track, and they will start hunting down Forrester. As Kelly now tucked right up behind Wardy. These two are teammates, both llama drivers. As is Clayton McBuller behind the main character himself, King of the Llamas. Or so he likes to think. Of course, there may well be some team orders there. Yeah, Mark Kelly all over the back of Wardy, trying to find a way through, but unable to do so. Chris White there taking a very defensive line, and we cannot see McBuller in the mirrors. And there is McBuller in the mirrors. There on the steering trace, we can see the steering traces of Chris White, just how smooth he's being on the steering. See now, White still caught up behind Kelly. This battle, you would have thought it would have started to have cooled down a little bit. Chris Forrester, if anything, is starting to break away slightly from Wardy behind. Whether Wardy will be able to start catching up now that he's in clear air, we will find out. But McBuller still unable to find his way past the McLaren duo.
And the Steve Pepper closing in as well.
Indeed.
Steve's bringing Justin with him as well.
Justin Weisbecker after incident in the first few laps, first couple of laps even, trying to make his way back through the field. Just a pass for the picture to McBuller, making McBuller look in his rearview mirror a little bit. Now Justin Weisbecker looks like he's got a run on Steve Pepper. He will have to go the long way round though, round the outside, and not going to work through 300R, but it would
nearly.
Sorry for that.
So close.
Late on the brakes there into Dunlop corner, and far too late on the brakes. Weisbecker having to go through the very slow chicane in the off-track area, and that's lost him a lot of time.
I think Clayton needs to be putting some lottery numbers on. That was so lucky. Oh, it could have been speared. That would have been tragic.
But thankfully, everything is okay as we look towards this battle up in the front. We've not really spoken too much about it recently. There's been a lot going on in the lower teens. But nonetheless, Charles Vasquez still leading by just half a second from Lucas Sipula, from Matt Hansel. Top three have broken away slightly. Luke Sloots, fourth place, but 3 seconds off the back of Hansel.
Yeah, can I just point out as well that for those that missed it, that Sebastian, he actually did. Was it Sebastian that went flying through?
Justin Weisbecker.
Justin, my apologies, Justin. Justin did get on the comms and apologise to the drivers that were involved and that he went straight through the middle of. So yeah, all credit to Justin. Thanks very much, much appreciated.
So easy to do when you're offline. It's just miss your braking point.
Yeah, I think he was just slightly unsighted as well with the braking point.
Yeah, obviously being on the wrong side of the track to what you're used to. As we see, two wizards going synchronised spinning. That is Hugavin and Malarin.
Was that contact between the two, or just a quick spin?
It didn't look like it was contact. It looked like both of them just went wide, following each other off, and hit the uneven part of the track with the sausage curbs. That's Wardy with damage.
Yeah, he seems to have been off.
What's happened to David Ward? Drop to 18 behind Steve Pepper. Will he dive into the pits?
Yeah, he is.
Looks like he is, yeah. These drivers will have a quick repair. As we see up at the front, Leopold just half a second behind Sloot. Meanwhile, this is Chan getting an overtake on Clement Golday. Arcipula at the front of the field, still unable to attack Vasquez. Vasquez keeping that gap at about half a second to a second. Arcipula not managing to get close enough to make an attack. As we see, these guys are back for round two. This is Hugavin and Malarin yet again.
And that's Wadi just coming out the pits.
And the two Paddock.gg Wizards, Aston Martins, both deciding, yeah, let's maybe not fight with a car coming out of the pits. Let's maybe try and survive for another lap. See, just looking at the timing board, Cipula has got that gap down to just a tenth of a second. As he approaches the braking zone, will he have a look? No, it doesn't look like it. Will any of these guys have a look? Clement Golday applying the pressure on Danny Chan. Chan feeling the need to go defensive, but maintaining track position for the moment. Meanwhile, Kelly goes wide, and it looks like Mises has made his way past. As Clayton Buller looks to finally make his way past the first of the McLarens. He will get the move finished under braking into turn one, or will he? White makes the apex, it does the perfect switcheroo and will be on the outside and slightly ahead for the next corner, but Clayton McBuller dives up the inside into Coca-Cola corner. Again, other soft drinks are available to finally wrestle that position from White. White now goes on an attacking line, but nothing doing at the moment. Clayton McBuller now needs to get his head down and go and chase after Forrester, who's 3 seconds down the road. We see this fight between the two Paddock.gg Wizards cars. Still not over. Still dragging Wardy along. Wardy begging to get involved in that glorious Mustang.
Yeah, David Ward will be just hanging on the coattails here, just trying to get himself pulled around and looking for any sort of mistake or an opportunity he's got to get past them.
Meanwhile, Thomas Goebbels has dropped back slightly for Steve Pepper. That gap now up to about 5 seconds. Oh, Rich Meester's really back in that Aston Martin, getting his hair up, properly wagging.
Yeah, so you just got to be so careful when you put the accelerator down to make sure those back tyres are really gripped up and pushing you out the corner.
And for the first time, seemingly all race, looks like Lucas Cipula had a little bit of a look at a move into the hairpin. Alas, nothing doing. Charles Vasquez still maintaining that lead from pole position. He's led every lap so far for AICT Revolution E-Racing Echo. His AICT Revolution E-Racing teammate Matt Hansel is in third place, just a second behind as we see. Oh no, that's issues for Thomas Goebbels.
Fuck off, man.
Oh, apologies for
was,
language.
Yeah, I'm not sure that was contact. I'm presuming it was with the reaction from Thomas there.
Well, certainly would be unusual to be swearing at himself for making a mistake. Two Wizards cars then still going at it. Hugavin still tucked up behind Malarin, unable to make his way past. Wardy now still keeping up with these guys, maybe dropping back fractionally, maybe a tenth or so, but still very much in this fight. These These guys, of course, have made their mandatory pit stop. Not sure whether they'll be able to go to the end, though. It'll depend on how well they can save some fuel.
Yeah, I mean, working together is possible, but obviously the one in front is going to be taking a big hit. So he'll be taking a lot of disadvantage from being out front, and the other two behind can just actually slipstream and just save a bit of fuel.
Malarin with a slightly different line to Hoogvin there. Hoogvin manages to get enough to the inside, and it'll be a drag race down the 1.5 kilometre back straight down to the first corner. These two now side by side, neck and neck. Hoogvin is just fractionally ahead and will have the inside line, or will he? He backs out very early, almost letting Wardy past. Slots back in behind Malarin. Is this team orders, do you think, Steve? Are these two Wizards Paddock.gg cars playing a game?
Not 100% sure to me, so I would have thought that, generally speaking, that the car on the inside would have gone for a lunge, but obviously not that time. So whether they're just sort of like playing around and biding the time, trying to work as a team to get forward, I don't know. But I really did think that David Ward was going to go for a switch back there and try to get the run on at least one of the cars, but he didn't. He held his line and kept his power driving just as long.
We saw for what's probably the first time in this race, Lucas Sipia finally managing to put an attack together on Vasquez. Managed to get a nose to the inside through Coca-Cola corner. Didn't manage to wrestle the place off, but is looming ever larger in the mirrors of Vasquez. Vasquez having to modify his lines, going a little bit more defensive. While these three, Vasquez, Sipula and Hansel, still every lap just creeping further and further away from Lucas Lutz in 4th place and current bronze leader.
Yeah, same again with Zachary Leibold as well, just right behind Lucas Lutz. Only half a second between the two of them, so it's very close there.
So we'll see what Sipula can do down the back straight as we start now lap 15 of this 1 hour race. We'll see Sipula dives to the inside, doesn't have enough of an overlap to make it work though. He will stay behind into turn 1. This is where he was able to get an overlap though in the previous lap, but not quite enough. He's close, he's closer, but not close enough through the corner. And as they go through 100R, not 130R, that's a different Japanese racetrack.
Yeah, very much.
Well, Carl Hudson, also for AICT Revolution E-Racing. It feels like half the cars on the grid are AITT Revolution E-Racing. Is there a contact between the AITT and the McLaren of Chris White? A little bit of door banging, no harm done to either driver. So we see now Daniel M. Bond. He is registered as a lap down, and that's Lawrence Aaron Jenkins just behind.
I think Daniel's probably behind, probably a lap down due to the fact that he's had the contact and maybe been in the pits. Probably had to limp it round at some stage.
I think you're right, Steve, as Wardy still unable to get past Hugavin or Malarin.
Remember, this is for position. This isn't a lap car or like that. This is for position.
You're absolutely right, Steve. Meanwhile, Lucas Sipula has now dropped behind Matt Hansel. And that again was a very odd move where it looks like the car on the inside just bailed out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think that he had a slowdown or anything like that, so it's a bit of an odd position, is that?
I mean, it is possible he had to slow down, of course. This is what we were expecting to see, with Ollie Ettridge making his way to the inside and getting the position gained on Gavin Kelly. Yeah, with the stipular Hansel Vasquez incident, my only assumption is that maybe Lucas Stipula wants to save a bit of fuel. He wants to try and maybe let pit strategy get involved with this fight for the podium positions. As we see Chris Forrester and Clayton McBuller now has finally caught up to Forrester, and that overtake was a lot easier than the overtake on the other McLaren. McBuller now with quite a bit of clear air ahead of him. So we see Peter McIntyre heading to the pits.
I think that's an early pit stop, but I think that's just the fuel and what have you. I don't think there's no retirement at that, and I would think Peter's just going into shorten his first stint.
It's certainly possible. Of course, the traditional one-stop strategy here is to fill your car up with fuel at the beginning of the race and then run for as long as you can, with the lap times getting quicker as you burn off more fuel. The car becomes lighter, not quite being offset by the tyres getting more and more worn.
Yeah, that's David Ward got between the two Paddock GG cars as well.
It has indeed, you're absolutely right, Steve. So if that was team orders earlier, Hugavin will not be happy.
Yeah, now David Ward's chasing after Tom Malarin there for 21st place. 21st place.
Exactly right, Steve. And so, as we look back up the top, Lucas Stipula, if that was a ploy to try and save a bit of fuel, it's not working out for him because he's dropped off the back of Matt Hansel and out of draft.
Yeah.
As we see Gavin Kelly now with Steve Maxwell all over his rear end. Kelly goes a little bit wide, takes a later apex, takes a very defensive line. Maxwell searching left, searching right, unable to get any overlap at the moment. Kelly maintains his position for the time being, as we see Hudson on the inside of White, Steve Pepper there in the background, looming, trying to catch up to these guys, waiting for the mistake to happen. Talking of mistake, not sure if this mistake here has opened the door up. That was Daniel Bond getting in the mix with cars 2-3 wide, as we see as well. Kelly and Maxwell now. Maxwell to the inside. Will he be able to get it stopped? Will he get the position? Yes, he will. Doesn't do what we've seen other drivers do on the inside and bail out. He managed to keep the position, Maxwell. Meanwhile, Josh Martinez has recovered to 17th after his early pit stop. The McLaren driver of Chris Forrester side by side with Carl Hudson. The other McLaren of Chris White just behind. So Forrester's not had a good couple of laps then, as we see these two drivers are going slowly. That's David Ward pulling off to the side. What's happened to Wardy? So we'll see what's happened and try and get you maybe a replay or something if that's possible. I'm not too sure, but we will work out what's happened to Wardy. Wanting to pull over the side of Prague, but crucially that has now released Hugavin to try and chase down Malarin again. Or having said that, Hugavin's in the pit lane again.
Yeah, I think there was contact. It's either contact or David Ward hit the wall quite hard, as far as I know. And unfortunately, I think there was too much damage for David to continue.
Highly possible, as we see a flash of lights there for Ollie Ettridge. Some lapped cars getting in the way, he's not too happy about. lap traffic, pulls over as soon as possible and makes it nice and easy. That is Rich Meesters after what could have been a scheduled pit stop about halfway through this race. That pit stop could certainly have been scheduled. It is still a little early. I'd expect for a one-stop strategy these guys to be trying to wait as late as possible, maybe sort of 40-45 minutes into this race before making their first and hopefully only pit stop. As we see Bond now on the back of Sebastian.
Now Steve Pepper making a pit stop as well there. So that's a majority of the bottom end of the runners at the moment, all having made pit stops.
Of course, that opens the door for the front runners to start making pit stops as well. The worst thing you can possibly do if you're leading this race is to make an early pit stop and find yourself in traffic. So the guys at the front will certainly want to hit as late as possible, try and hit after all of the guys behind them. Unless, of course, they find themselves in a tight battle and then just try and use some clear air to force an undercut. You see Maxwell to the inside of Meesters. Meesters a lap down, will not fight that one too hard. You see, Meesters does look to the inside very briefly. I don't think that was ever going to be a legitimate overtaking attempt. As we see, Mr. salutes himself with a flash of the lights, asking Steve Pepper to kindly relinquish the position, which Steve, of course, does, being the absolute gentleman that he is.
Of course.
Meanwhile, Leopold still tucked up behind Sloots now, as we see Lucas Sipula into the pit. What's happened to him? As we see Steve Pepper behind has had a spin, backs it sensibly off the racing line.
Yeah, and that's thanks to the overlay monkeys for showing that bit. Thank you very much.
Yeah, what's happened to Sipula? Sipula looks like he's just disappeared from the racetrack.
Yeah, I wonder if there's some sort of connection problem. He's showing us out, so maybe that's it. Maybe it's connection problems.
Unless he's had an incident and has had to reset back to the pits.
It's a possibility.
But either way, we certainly didn't see an incident. So let's have a look at what's happened to him. We see these two racing once again. They were battling last lap. Battling the lap before. They're still battling. Now it's Bond to the inside. Will he be late on the brakes? He's late on the brakes, but not quite late enough. He gets it stopped, parked on the apex. Doesn't get a great run out of that corner though. Meanwhile, you've got Maxwell just behind in that all-black Wizards car, trying to make an overtake. Of course, the hint for position between Maxwell, that is a lap down, so Bond will now be getting blue flags. Because unlike blueness and optometry, you do not have to jump out of the way of the leaders. Of course, it is good sense, it is good racecraft, good etiquette to do so. Now as we see Sebastian Boyvi having lost time letting Maxwell pass, he's now gained all of that back and he's tucked right up underneath Bond again. As we see Rich Meesters now, these three, Bond, Boyvi and Meesters, all fighting for position on track. We've got Peter McIntyre not too far behind. It's Luke Sloots and Zach Liebold now, promoted up to 3rd and 4th after a mysterious issue for Sipula. 8 seconds back now from this leading duo here of Vasquez and Hansel.
They managed to pull out 8 seconds gap between themselves and Luke's Loops.
And I just wonder, Steve, if Hansel's played a bit of a blinder here, just sat back, not getting involved, as we see that White diving off the road, second by the blue flag. I wonder, Steve.
I think that was a slight miscontrol there. Where, there was a puff of smoke, and I think that's what sent Chris to the left-hand side.
I think you're right. I was trying to not make it too obvious. Trying to spare a bit of dignity for Chris. But yeah, I wonder if Hansel's just been playing it carefully and calmly, saving a bit of fuel. He'll wait until Vasquez pits and then unleash his true pace. We'll have to wait and see at the pit stops, which are probably due within the next 5 or 10 minutes. And on the alternate strategy, we have Josh Martinez is the leading driver from Mitchell and Timon Sloots. We'll have to wait and see, however, if these guys are able to make it to the end of the race, or whether they will have to make a stop.
Yeah, and I think when you said about Anderson, he's crafty little using the slipstream or whatever, it'd be interesting to see, because basically if he can eke that extra lap out, it means that he's going to be a second or two quicker in the pit stop, which could be the difference between being second and leading the race.
Of course, it's a bit of a double whammy being able to save fuel, because obviously you'll stay out a lap longer and be able to get an undercut, putting in a rapid lap while everyone else is full fuel and cold tyres. But not only that, when Hansel does come in for fuel, he'll be stopped for less time. He won't need as much fuel. There'll be a lap less.
Exactly.
That he needs to do.
Yeah. I said that could be the difference between 1 or 2 seconds in the pit, less standing time, and that could be the difference between first and second for Matt. And if he comes out 2 or 3 seconds in front of Charles with only a handful of laps, it's going to be very difficult for Charles to get the opportunity to get past him.
Right, Steve. As we approach the pit window, we will find out if these are the games that have been played, whether there has been any strategy masterclasses. We see Hansel actually dropping back slightly from Vasquez. Is that, as we see, oh, that's Liebold!
That's a big
the sausage. So he was lucky not to roll that then.
Yeah, I think there was another there. I don't know who it was. It was Chris White. He hit the sausage as well. So there's too many people playing with sausages in here. Am I like it?
See the battle of the McLarens still raging on. Forrester still ahead of White. I feel like White's probably got a bit more pace, given that that gap was up at 3, 4, 5 seconds at one point. And White's just absolutely whittling that away to practically nothing. As we see here, fight between Bond and Pepper. Pepper to the inside. Will Pepper be able to be late on the brakes? No, again. We've seen this time and time again. The car on the inside just not able to brake late enough to get the position.
Yeah, I think that was a little bit of generally sportsmanlike conduct as well from Skipper. But obviously, Daniel, although he's fighting for position, Steve would be happy to give that position up, because obviously he's not in the same championship as Daniel.
And we've got Matt Hansel himself in the live chat saying, I wish I was the fuel-saving whisperer in our stable. That award goes to Danny. So yeah, we'll keep an eye out then. Danny Chan, he's 17 seconds off the lead, but leading silver after Leopold's half spin and trip over the sausage curbs. So yeah, we'll have to see how Danny performs. It's going to be a bit of a long shot to get on the podium, being 17 seconds back, but he can certainly consolidate his 4th place finish and certainly consolidate that lead over Leopold. So it will be very interesting to see where Martinez with that early pit stop drama. This drops him right the way to the back of the field. He's fought through well, but we will see if he needs to make another pit stop. Vasquez still now ahead of Hansel with Eric Jenkins. Just a very gentlemanly thing. Pulls over to the side of the road. Doesn't get in the way of this battle for the lead now between the two AITT Revolution E-Racing cars. It's like deja vu, Steve, but with a different driver leading.
Very much. Have to break this up. It's no good. Come on, somebody else challenge.
You know what it is? I think the AITT guys heard us last week complaining about how they were just dominating everything. Hansel and Martinez fighting up at the top. And I thought, right, well, we can do one better than that. We can get 3 drivers involved.
Looks like it, doesn't it?
Yeah. As we see now, even though Bond has got that position, Steve Pepper certainly not giving up. He's sticking with Bond. Just 0.4 of a second back. So I know Steve Pepper did the gentlemanly thing and pulled over because Bond is not in his class, but I do wonder, with less than 20 minutes to go and Bond not really fighting anyone for position in his class, I do wonder if those two will start having a little bit of a battle in the last few laps.
Yeah, interesting whether Steve can pull it back and give Daniel a run for his money in the end.
We'll have to wait and see. We'll be sure to pop back in on that battle towards the end of the race and see how it's getting on. Meanwhile, up the front, 42 minutes gone and still no pit stop for the top 10. Now, in fact, this is interesting. I've just noticed Zach Leopold has now boxed and has come out behind Josh Martinez. Speaking of the devil, there he is. Josh Martinez now up to 11th. And with Leopold running 4th behind Luke Sloots, to come out behind Martinez, that puts Martinez up into the net podium positions, surely.
I think it does, yeah.
So we'll have to wait and see if he can make it to the end of the race. Leopold now about 5-6 seconds behind Martinez. So yeah, not sure if that was just a slow stop from Leopold or whether that is just genuinely how long it takes to do a pit stop. I'm sure we'll see before too long. It's usually about, what, 40-45 minutes to a tank, Steve?
Yeah, something like that. That's generally what the officials are. They run to about 45 minutes, don't they? So we'll see what happens.
Unless these guys have an absolute featherweight right foot and are able to go a little bit longer. Meanwhile, we see it's still back on the McLarens. They are 18th and 19th at the moment. They are leading in bronze. So that is not just a fight between the McLarens for the honorary team leader. That is battle for the bronze win. Hansel and Vasquez now getting ever closer. Just 0.3 splits these two. As we see, that is Chris White.
Nearly.
Very nearly spun back into the path of Rich Meesters. Thankfully, he's a sensible guy, very respectful racer. Manages to stamp on the brakes and stop that happening. And rejoins in a very safe manner.
So, who's going to blink first, Charles or Matt?
Well, neither of them have blinked this lap. So we'll see how many more laps they are able to do. Crucially,
Can't imagine it's more than this lap, to be honest.
we'll see who has a right foot that is very, very delicate and sensitive, just able to slowly massage that accelerator pedal. And we have as Carl Hudson and Josh Martinez in the other AIT Revolutionary Racing cars are now side by side down the back straight, just behind Clayton McBullough, who of course is due a pit stop. Josh Martinez wins that scrap. Carl Hudson, of course, still also as a pit stop, so I do wonder if that was a little bit of team radio, sort of team orders at play there.
Now the AIT team members might be able to tell us in chat, how do you differentiate between your teams, as in Echo or Delta, whatever it is? How do you differentiate the deliveries of the car?
Maybe they don't.
Possibly.
As we see Lawrence Aaron Jenkins again being very much gentlemanly, getting out of the way, not wanting to interfere with this race lead. Well, sorry, this isn't the race leading battle. This is the battle between the other two AICT Revolutionary Racing cars. This is for 10th and 11th, and Josh Martinez now chasing down Clayton McBullough for 9th. So we'll see how good of an exit Josh Martinez got. Will he be able to outrun Clayton McBullough's McLaren?
I don't think the Audi's got the legs on the McLaren here.
I think you might be right, but then how many more laps of fuel do these guys have? 47 minutes now gone in the race, just 12 minutes left.
Yeah. Obviously, Clayton's got to pit as well, so he's the odd one out here.
I believe Carl Hudson also has to pit, so it's Josh Martinez that's the odd one out. So he will be getting maybe slightly frustrated at having to battle people that aren't in his race at all. So we see Steve Pepper now after the spin for Chris White. Chris White has now dived into the pit lane. That promotes Pepper up to 2nd in class and Rich Meesters up to 3rd in class.
Bullough still keeping Hudson behind him. Oh, Martinez, sorry.
Martinez as well. Martinez and Hudson. Of course, McBullough and Hudson both need to pit, so they are fighting for position. I'll have to see when those guys pit, how far back they fall.
I think Carl are pretty desperate for Joshua to actually pass Clayton so he can pull up back to the onto the back of the and still they go on.
Of course, the McBullough McLaren, does it have the straight line speed? Martinez, we've seen this move be really tough for quite a few people. We'll see. No, McBullah's backing out of it. He knows who his race is. And it's most certainly not Martinez. So that promotes Martinez now up to 7th. Has cost him a couple of seconds to the leaders though.
I'm just wondering whether Matt Ansell just made a slight mistake there, because he's dropped to over 7/10. So he's just dropped slightly, nearly out of the draft there.
You could be right. You see these two guys up the front now with a 12-second gap to Luke Sloots, who now dives to the pit lane in 3rd. So surely Vasquez and Hansel must be following suit in the next lap or so, surely.
I would think so. I'm very surprised if they don't.
Meanwhile, Vasquez still 0.4 of a second of a lead over Matt Hansel. Matt Hansel has just put a little joke in the chat, depends who's paying me the most that race. I'll be honest, I've forgotten what I missed that coming in, so I'm not sure what that's in response to, but maybe if Matt Hansel's paying the bills. Hansel goes a little bit wide there. Maybe Hansel can pay for the better pit crew. Maybe you can pay to sabotage Vasquez's pit stop. We don't know. But we will find out surely at the end of this lap. Surely they can't go one more. And yeah, it looks like Vasquez is certainly heading for the pit lane.
Yeah, synchronised pit
Looks
lane.
like he's following. So it will be battle of the AITT pit crews then. Who will fill up with fuel the quickest? Who will swap tyres if they need to? Late on the brakes to get it down to the pit speed limiter.
Yeah, that was very close from Charles there. It looks as though he was almost speeding in the pits. It was very close to actually collecting the arm corner right inside him as well.
So Vasquez now trundling down the pit stop. Chan and Ettridge also pit this lap. So Danny Chan, the AITT fuel saving expert, not able to do an extra lap. As we see, one man who is able to do the extra lap, Ollie Ettridge. So well done to the risky racing driver.
Yeah, he's the last to pit.
Well, just in front of him is the lapped car of Chris Forrester. So Ettridge will hope to get past as quickly as possible. Meanwhile, Vasquez is still in the pits. What's happened to Vasquez?
I wonder if he's changed tyres.
That's a disastrously slow pit stop. That's cost him the race win. Matt Hansel now. That's Danny Chan. That's Chan and Liebold then. So this is for the silver race victory then. As you see, Clayton McBuller, I don't think he could get any closer to the pit wall if he tried. Nonetheless, late on the brakes, he gets a position from Simon Sloots. As meanwhile, Chan and Liebold go side by side yet again. Chan on the inside, Liebold to the outside. Who will be later on the brakes? Liebold surely can't go around the outside. No, he can't. He will tuck back in behind the AITT Revolution e-racing driver. And the green Formula Mustang will search for another opportunity.
Yeah, I don't think there's only one blind really through the Sprite chicane, isn't there?
It is very tight. As we see now, Ollie Ettridge finally coming into the pits with just 6 minutes of the race remaining.
Yeah, it's another Martinez.
That's Martinez. So Martinez couldn't do the entire race.
Yeah, so second stop for Joshua there.
That is stop number 2, so that will drop him right back down to probably 10th or 10th to 12th, that sort of position, as we see Ettridge rejoins just ahead of Chan and Liebold. Oh, Chan just parks it on the apex. Liebold not able to make his way through. Wanting revenge on Clayton McBuller. Clayton McBuller saying, if you want to go past me, you'll go around, mate. Definitely no room on the inside to the pit wall there.
I'm not sure whether that's actually illegal to go right down under the white line there.
I'm not sure. I think
Pepper
as we see Honda and Pepper now going wheel to wheel, I think if there is any foul play suspected with the Clayton McBuller in manoeuvres, I'm sure they'll be reported to the stewards.
Sorry, man, I missed my break.
See there a little bit of an argument between Liebold and Chan.
Yeah,
Liebold has the position, but they're going to both lose a position to Clement Goldé. Liebold will try and hang
Okay,
around the
glad I'm
outside,
not allowed
but
to make
not
the braking point.
able to do so. In fact, yes, he has. He's made that position stick. And taking a very tight line into the final corner. Gaudet will go for a wider line, get a better exit, carry more speed onto the straight. And then he'll use that mighty long ultimately back straight to try and get into the slipstream and make a pass down into turn one. Will he be able to do it? He's getting closer, closer. Liebold moves to make a defensive line. Ultimately, Gaudet not close enough. Liebold returns back to the normal racing line and takes the apex as normal. Advantage, Liebold. Round 3 for Sloots versus McCullough. Will the main character himself feel a need to do even more defensive manoeuvres? He goes slightly defensive, not as defensive as he was previously. Still able to get it slowed down, hit the apex, and try and force Timon Sloots around the long way round.
So the inside goes Timon.
Will he be able to get it slowed down in time? Will he make the apex? Yes. Will McBullough go around the outside? No. Timon Sloots there, making the position, but he's going back again. Of course, the inside for the next corner will be Timon Sloots for the left-hander, and yep, Timon Sloots now comfortably ahead of McBullough. McBullough again with the switchback. Oh, this is a fantastic fight between these two.
Yeah.
Sloots now going for the defensive line into Dunlop. McBullough with the switchback. Nowhere to put this car though. Nowhere to get the power down. And now they're into the section where there is really just one line until you get up to nets, which is here. But McBullough not close enough to try and make a move. Meanwhile, we've got Pepper and Bond fighting, so both Formula Armors now under pressure. Bond, of course, not in the Formula Armor car. He's in the no prop armor. Of course, all under the Formula Armor stable. As you see, Timon Sloots unleashed. That's a mouthful, so we've got a few glasses of wine. Weaving left and right. McBullough unable to make a move as we see Murphy now on Kelly. So all Formula Bombers under pressure.
It'd be interesting to see if Alex Murphy can do the switchback here on Mark Kelly. Although he seems to got a little bit wide and he's overlapped on the wrong side.
The outside. That'll give him the inside for the next corner. Coca-Cola, if he can make it stick. And it looks like he can. Again, Mark Kelly will try and go around the outside, with Bulk in the inside for the hairpin, but that's a long way around the outside.
He's got a chance here.
It looks like he's got a chance, but Murphy will keep his foot in it.
Yeah, once you get on the inside that corner and you're able to control it, you can get the power down a lot quicker.
So fair play to Kelly there, able to just keep ahead of Murphy. As we see now, back to the other llama fight between Pepper and Bond. Pepper now swoops to the outside, gets the move done, and crucially slams the door in Bond's face. So Bond not able to get back to the inside of the next corner. Bond there with a little cheeky flash of the lights. As we see, that's Matt Hansel, that's our leader.
Gone round.
He has. Thankfully, he's got such a huge gap that it doesn't look like that's going to affect him. The gap now from 20 odd seconds down under 8 seconds. That's cost him 12-13 seconds there. Either way, back to the Murphy-Kelly Formula Armor battle. Murphy now up the inside, parks it on the apex. Kelly will try for the undercut, but I don't know if he will have the power to do so. Matt Hansel now recovers.
This is the final lap.
It is the final lap. see.
That's the checkered flag. That's a win.
That is the checkered flag. So that is the win for Matt Hansel. And he pulls it quickly. As we see now, into the final corner. Who'll get the better of this fight, Kelly or Murphy? Kelly will have to be aggressive. Murphy will cover the inside line like his life depends on it. Zach Liebold there in an excellent 4th place. Be the leading silver driver. Luke Sloots, of course, our bronze winner and 2nd overall. And Martinez finishes 10th. We're just waiting to see. So Bond kept the position ahead of Pepper. Kelly and Murphy are still fighting.
Well done,
As are
Alex.
Sloots
Good
and
and key
McBuller.
job,
Sloots
yeah.
just got the position ahead of McBuller. And it looks like Murphy is comfortably ahead of Kelly. So what started off as a bit of a hectic race in the first lap or so. It then calmed down a bit, but oh boy, that was a hectic end to the race. So you see Chris Forrester just coming up to the line. The last one, it appears, to take the checkered flag. In 17th place, and that is the bronze win. Oh, sorry, apart from Luke Sloots, who is
the
bronze
win, yeah.
for this race, then promoted to gold.
And that's it for this race.
We'll see if we can get some race results
Yeah,
up on
race results.
screen. There you go. Steve, why don't you take us through the results?
I will do. So a win, a massive win there for Matt Hansel, followed by a win in bronze for Luke Sloots. That's 2nd place. Wow, for a bronze driver to take that, and it's no wonder he's going up to gold. 3rd place, so rounding out the podium, is Ollie Ettridge, followed by Zach Leopold, and that's a win in silver. And it's followed by Clement Gaudet. Fantastic result there for Clement in getting 5th. 6th, Danny Chan. 7th is Isaac Mitchell. 8th is Charles Vasquez. 9th, Stephen Maxwell. 10th, Joshua Martinez. 11th is Gavin Kelly. 12th, Timon Sloots. Obviously, Gavin Kelly. Sorry, my apologies. Isaac Mitchell rounding out the podium for silver. And then we got Clayton McBuller, 13th. 14th, Carl Hudson. Alex Murphy, 15th. Mark Kelly, 16th. Chris Forrester there in 2nd place in bronze in 17th. And 18th, just pipping Steve Pepper there for 18th place. 19th is Steve Pepper. That's 3rd place in bronze. And Rich Meester's not quite able to catch up to Steve and Daniel in 20th place, followed by Justin 21st, Pete McIntyre in 22nd, Sebastian in 23rd, Chris White 24th, Merrin Hugavin 25th, Lucas Sipula and David Ward, and also John Cook not finishing the race, and in 26th to 28th respectively.
Thank you for taking us through that, Steve. And thank you very much for tuning in today. That is all we've got time for. We will be back again soon for coverage of the next round of the Limited Adhesion Endurance League. So thank you very much for watching. My name has been Mark. Joining me in the commentary booth has been Steve. Thank you very much.
It's been fantastic to see you all. And take care, and see you at Road Atlanta. Take care, everybody. Good night.